and conservation. Lorenzo Salinas from Peru, architect and bioconstructor, works as a project coordinator of the Children Bamboo Rainforest. He also coordinated the first bamboo workshop in the southeastern side of the Peruvian Amazon in 2018. The second speaker, Hideo Oguri Halu, engineer, founder of Human Tech Lab Japan, which create the equipments to draw the human abilities. He will be speaking on charkha, folding chairs and spinning wheels made of bamboo. Juan Pablo, our next resource person, is a Chilean architect and sculptor. He is the creative director of Cave Urban, Australia. Mr. Didi Haukip, State Mission Director, Bamboo Mission, will make a few announcements.
You make the announcements and we can call them, or should I call them first? Do you have a felicitation by you also, sir? Okay. Shall I call them, sir? Kames, salam has come. So you felicitate, then you make the announcements? Okay.
May we invite on dais the chair of the second session, Kamesh Salam. Please give a big hand for the chair of the second session. May we also invite on the dais the 4 resource persons, 2 from Peru, Vanessa F. and Lorenzo S., and Hideo Oguri Halu from Japan, and Juan Pablo from Australia. We also invite the 2 reporters of the second session to kindly take your respective places. May we also invite the 4 resource persons of the second session to kindly take your places. Vanessa F. and Lorenzo S. from Peru, Hideo Oguri Halu from Japan, Juan Pablo from Australia. The 2 reporters of the second session. May we invite the reporters to kindly take your places. Mr. Didi Haukip, State Mission Director, Bamboo Mission, will now felicitate the chair, the 4 resource persons, and the Shri Didi Haukip, please. The chair of the second session, Kamesh Salam. Please give a big hand. Lorenzo S. from Peru. Vanessa Hideo Oguri. Vanessa F. from Peru. Hideo Oguri from Japan. Hideo Oguri Halu.
After this session, there will be discussion hour from 12 to 12:30 to 1. So it will be a combined discussion for the first technical and second technical session. Lagani. Kareba. Oh. Generator. They'll bring the generator. We'll wait for some time. Wait for some time. Generator will come. Yeah, they'll on that one.
By their presentation and by the expertise which is going to be shared soon. So I call upon the first speaker, Ms. Vanessa, to give her first topic of the day of this session. Please.
Hello. Good morning. My name is Vanessa Frias. I'm from Peru. I'm a biologist and I'm also a yoga teacher. I've been working in the Peruvian Amazon for 20 years, and now we are doing a children's bamboo rainforest inspired in the Amazon. I'm working with Lorenzo. He's an architect, so we've been working together since last year, and I will introduce what we are doing. So I spent 10 years working with the children in the Amazon, and now we are going to explain a bit of the methodology, what is happening in Peru, what is happening in the Amazon, where we are located, and all this biodiversity, flora, fauna, and all the natives, indigenous peoples that we have in our country. The location of our place is in the southeastern part of the Peruvian Amazon. As you see, South America, Peru is on the left side. This red spot is where we are living, Peru. and we are in the frontier with Brazil, Peru, and Bolivia. So from our place, in 3 hours, we are in the border with Brazil, and we have the same kind of ecosystem. So you see, Madre de Dios region means, this is in Spanish, translated in English means Mother of God, and it's a beautiful spot. It's a lowland rainforest, and it's one of the highest, it's called a hotspot of biodiversity. In that biodiversity, we got beautiful animals like giant river otters, more than 200 species of mammals just in that region. We got jaguars, pumas, different kind of cats. Still, we can see them on the river, 2 hours up the river. Ecotourism is quite high in that area. More than 1,000 species of birds. Actually, we're the second in the world in species of bird, and Colombia is the first one. And in just that area, they have counted 1,000. So bird watching is another big activity in that region. Woodpeckers, macaws. We have different species of macaws. Actually, when I started, my first research were on macaws. I stayed in a research station a long time ago, trying to know the cycle of life because they're in danger of extinction. Different reptiles, more than 130 species just in the region. Snakes, amphibians and reptiles. Beautiful poison dart frogs as well. More than 1,200 species of butterflies. We are the second in the world in butterflies and fish. And still the best and the emergent trees like chihuahuacos and or what they call the Brazil nut trees, that they are more than 1,000 years old. This is a Brazil, well known as a Brazil nut tree, but it's an Amazonian tree. And when you eat the nut, the Brazilian nut, actually is a tree that the age is between 500 and 800 years old. And they just grow by themselves, and it's dispersed by a little rodent. So we don't grow that. So when you eat those nuts, it comes from a sustainable forest managed by the local people. We also have a very diversity, we still have different communities, like here, Amahuacas, Esejas, Machiguengas, they live in communities, but at the same time we also have non-contact indigenous people, isolated because they don't want to be in contact with us. There are at the moment some, you can see some videos. The missionaries or other people wants to be in contact, they don't. And they live in the watersheds of the rainforest. And now I'm going to pass Lorenzo, because on one side, because we have this beautiful area, really high in biodiversity with so many cultures, and at this moment we are having a big problem.
So, unfortunately, this is the real situation of the Peruvian Amazon today. Deforestation is a real problem. More than 90,000 hectares have been deforested in the last 15 years. Oh, sorry. So this is the news from last week in Peru, saying that the last 2 years in Peru have been the worst in terms of deforestation in the history of the country. In only the last 2 years, more than 18,000 hectares have been deforested. This is equivalent to 25,000 football fields. Leaving these terrible sceneries due to the principal problem is illegal mining. We also have illegal logging, where people are cutting down trees, emergent trees such as chihuahuacos, and they do not realize that these trees can have more than 1,000 years old and that can absorb more carbon dioxide than one total hectare of rainforest. And we also have monoculture, people with agricultural purposes slash and burn their terrains, damaging, of course, the ecosystem and the natural habitat of the animals that live here. And one of the main problems in the last few years, these have been worse, is because the construction in 2006 of the interoceanic road that goes from the Atlantic Ocean in Brazil to the Pacific Ocean in Peru, and cutting the rainforest like a knife. So in 2008, with the European economic crisis, the price of the gold went very high, so the demand for gold was even higher. So this made people from the highlands of Peru move to Madre de Dios, because there was no other economical activity that could pay more than this. So this obviously made more people working illegally and more deforestation. For example, this is a satellite image of Puerto Maldonado in Madre de Dios in the year 2000. We can see some rivers and, 16 years later, we can see deforestation, how it's spreading throughout the entire Amazon without any control. And this is another example of Rio Branco in Brazil, this city in 1995, and now in 2016, how can cities without any planification can deforestate the rainforest as well. So this is another image of the slash and burning and the interoceanic road. And so in this context, after explaining the biodiversity of the place and the problematic, we propose to use bamboo as a tool for conservation.
So in this context, we work with ANIA, Association for Children and Their Environment, and what we are planning to do and what we are doing already is to work with children. So we are doing the first children bamboo rainforest in the Amazon, and what we believe is that we can create a better world with children and youth. There are many studies that explain that kids between 3 and 11 years old is the perfect time where they develop love and values for life and nature. This is the time when we get connected with nature. And that's why we want to start with kids when they are very little. What is a children's land? There's a children's land we call TINI, which is Tierra de los Niños. It's an initiative that reconnects young people to the natural environment. It's an area, it's a land that is given by an adult, and it could be given for a family, to school, or also work in the community as well. And it can be implemented in any place. It could be in a urban place or in a rural place, and it doesn't matter the socio-economical status of the area. In 2012, Children's Land methodology was officially recognized by UNESCO as the best practice of education and sustainable development. And in 2015, we are already using that program with the Minister of Education. So the schools are able to use the program, and so the kids will get a chance to go and learn not just in the class, but go to the forest and learn about nature, how to write, how to read, how to count, and especially to get connected with the forest and with our culture. Why is so important? What is children's participation? We always talk about children. We always think that children are so important, that they have to participate, but in reality, we don't let the children to participate. We always decide what they have to do. Since we are little, we tell them, don't get muddy, do this, do that, parents, school, and the whole society. So they have no freedom. So real children's participation has a methodology. So what we do is I go to a community, or we go to a community and say, okay, what do you like about your community and what you don't like? So they think about that. When they don't like things, they say, so what are we going to do? And they propose things like, let's plant, let's do compost, let's clean the area. And so they write it. After that, we make a vision. A vision is so important. It's like the architects, they design, they make their drawings, and then you know how it's going to be your house. They do the same, but in their school or in their gardens or in the community. After that, they make the design, and then I invite the parents or the people that are in charge to explain what the children want to do. They have to be conscious of the resources that they have and the time that they're going to put in the project. And for example, we have this map was created by children in India more than 10 years ago in Tamil Nadu, in this nice village called Auroville. And we had a volunteer from Portugal. He learned the methodology and he traveled to India and he started that project over there, here. And we have projects in India, in South America, in Chile, Colombia, Brazil, also in Nepal and in Japan. It's very easy to do, and I think most of the people that are related to education, we all have the same idea, so we want to work together. And so if you see, they have all these areas, and they decide which resources they have and in which period they are going to do it with the participation of the children. So they start doing, for example, if they want to do their organic patch, they decide the veggies that they want to plant, the fruits that they want to plant. Normally, they don't give the best area. So this is an example of a school on the top that they gave us the back side of the school with all the garbage. And we clean it with the kids and a few parents. And after a few months, less than 6 months, we turn it into a beautiful green space. The other down below is an area very poor in Peru, in Lima. Lima, in the coast of Peru, is a desert. So we have no water, it never rains, and these kids live on the mountains with no water and electricity sometimes. And so, but kids have so much enthusiasm and they dream. So what we do is, we went there was just one kid that said, I want to have a beautiful green area. So what do? So we start to recycle tires and we turn into a beautiful place on the other side. The kids celebrate their birthdays. And after 2 years, he inspired 50 other children in that area. And also there was a band, like that they were fighting between one neighborhood and the other one. But after this project, this group of teenagers decided to protect this children's land area. So it also encouraged positive actions in the area. And what we are doing now, we started last year and we are going to continue this year, is start the vision of the Children Bamboo Rainforest. We have 14 hectares, 7 hectares of rainforest and 7 hectares of, it used to be a cattle ranch. So in that area, we are building the Children's Bamboo Rainforest, and it's in the Amazon Yoga Center that I'm running. And so that area is going to be for the children, so we can invite children and students from that region to learn about bamboo. So the whole area, if you see these all little dots, is like we're going to have a playground, a mandala garden, a workshop, a bamboo shop, bamboo house, a rhino, or what they want to decide, the design of an animal from the rainforest, a nursery, and a bamboo forest with the native plants, and also some other bamboos that we can show to the local people. And Kapok and Saimiri, in the methodology, also is very important for children to get an identity with a character. So Kapok is the name of a ceiba, the largest tree, an emergent tree, but in a native language. And Saimiri is the name of this monkey. So it's like the representation of flora and fauna. And we are planning to do a path with a story, like a magical story of the kids that they go into the forest and they will find Kapok that will provide and bring happiness. When we are going through all these difficult situations about deforestation, illegal mining, at least to provide to the children some hope. So last year, we did this workshop, and Lorenzo is going to explain, thanks to Martin and the Mortera family that support us from Mexico, and then we made a joint Mexico-Peru to make it possible.
So with the amazing help of Martin and Guillermo Mortera and Vanessa, of course, and the entire team, we did the first Amazon bamboo workshop. We took bamboo from the zone. We used Bambusa vulgaris, and we also used Guadoa sarcocarpa, that is all over the place in Madre de Dios, also known as paca. This is the material. So the idea of the workshop was for participants to learn the different construction techniques with bamboo and familiarize with the material. We did this organic structure that Martin has presented around a burnt tree to emphasize the sad reality we are living in the Amazon today. This is Claudia from Germany. We had people from different countries. And we made this structure for children, like a place for meditation for children. This is pictures of the entire team. It was all made out of bamboo splits. And we also did 2 hyperbolic structures. We had conferences at night with Martin and other specialists of conservation and construction, where Martin explained other structures that could complement these structures we were doing to make them more easy to construct or to create other spaces. And we also did these columns made out of 4 bamboos to make houses entirely made out of bamboos with earth and bamboo, just that, and in very few days. And we also did the structure that Martin talked about in the workshop a few days ago, this arch structure for the entrance to where all these structures are. So in 4 days we did 5 structures, the organic structures, 2 hyperbolics, the house of bamboo, and the arch structure. So to keep our goal of conservation, we need to think about sustainability. So Vanessa is going to finish the presentation explaining the social, the environmental, and the economic strategies of the project.
Yeah, just to finish. Yeah, so every time when you want to work with projects, the main thing is how to get the funds to keep going. And also they always ask you for sustainability. So for me, the most important base to go forward is to work with education and with children. And that's why, if we don't work with the values and we don't encourage the children to care about nature, no matter how much technology and money we have, we will keep destroying our planet. So after that, if the social base is all right, then we can go forward with conservation, and at the same time we use bamboo. For us, bamboo is a tool for conservation in the Amazon, and we can transform the bamboo in different activities. And for us, we are new in all these areas. That's why we are here. We are learning a lot from the other people that came to this conference. And we are very happy to get that knowledge and make alliance to make it possible. What we think that will be the first step is environmental education with children, get researchers to make the base of the native bamboo that we have in the area, do the bamboo plantations with the local communities, carbon credits, because we are also having companies like banks or big companies that will pay to maintain a forest. For example, by myself, 15 years ago, I bought 60 hectares of primary rainforest, and I just protect it. And I have other people that just want to do that, just to protect the forest. And ecotourism, we got 2 big national parks, the Bahuaja Sonene and the Manu National Park in Peru. We got 14% of the whole country is protected by national parks and reserve zones. And also the bamboo transformation, that we are learning here with the fuel, bioconstruction, nutrition, and handicraft. It's very ironic because we have native bamboo in Peru, but we don't use it. And in Asia, we see all this diversity of alternatives to transform bamboo. So for us, it's an excellent opportunity to provide bamboo as a tool for conservation. And just to finish, Dharma in Sanskrit means your mission. This is my son, he's Luca, 10 years old. And when I started this project, the Amazon Yoga Center and then the bamboo, there were 3 words that came to my mind, like what is my passion, why I'm here in this planet, what is my main purpose to keep going. One is children, because they give me hope and happiness. The other one is yoga. I'm a yoga teacher because it gives me harmony and peace. When I do yoga and I meditate, I get in balance. I don't get crazy. And also nature, because when I'm in nature, I feel inspired and I feel like I can do everything for the rainforest and for my country. It's like an injection of energy when I see a bird, when I see the river, when I see a leaf. No, so I think that was since I was very little. I didn't know that I was going to be a biologist, but I was always searching for insects, and I was in the garden. So for my point of view, it's so important to have children and be connected with nature. And I want to thank to Net Jaquit Foundation, because that was our first fund that we got last year. We are going to start with that, with the connection with the Minister of Education to bring the children to the Children's Bamboo Rainforest Land. Then Amazon Yoga Center is my place. You are very welcome to come to the Amazon anytime. Amazon Bamboo Workshop with the Mortera family, with Martin and Guillermo, and Digma Trade and Ania, that is the association that has been working for more than 20 years in Peru. Thank you, and very welcome to Peru. We just have a video. Okay, that's okay. Okay. ¿Ah? No, no hay tiempo. We can put it later.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I would like to briefly explain the bamboo charka, which is a cotton spinning tool, and the bamboo folding chair. Okay. Let me introduce myself. My name is Hideo Oguri, but my nickname is Haru, so just call me Haru. And I was an engineer in large company, developing the diesel engines for the construction machinery. So this is the bulldozer, and this is the picture of the diesel engine. I was basically the mechanical engineer. And then I quit my job in the large company, then Human Tech Lab as a freelance engineer. I am now developing equipment to draw the human ability. Basically, I have two kinds of the projects. One is the open source project, such as the bamboo charka and bamboo folding chair, also the human-powered dehydrator. And the other is the patented technology, such as the human-powered generator. This is a kind of the backup system when the electricity is out, just like this morning. And next, let me explain why I started my projects. In Japan, we had a large earthquake in 2011, March 11th, followed by the tsunami and nuclear power plant explosion. Then many people noticed that the weakness of the urban lifestyle based on the global economy and changed their lifestyle. So keywords are before globalization and economical growth, now resilience, localization, and local economy. So this is the background of my project. So this is a bamboo folding chair. As you see, this is a chair, but can be folded like bunch of bamboo, and assemble the lower part and put the upper part. I can show you. And now this functions as a chair. So, thanks. So, the key point of this chair is usually the bamboo chair is very heavy. I think that's because they're using the thick bamboo and using the bolt and nut for the joint. But this structure is just using the ropes and using this kind of the X joint. So combining the two X joint, this can be used as a chair. And I think this is a chair, but this structure can be applied for making the table or small hat for folding table or folding hat. And next, this is a bamboo charka. charka is a Hindi word meaning the spinning wheel or just wheel. So I should say taren in this area. Anyway, this is a portable spinning wheel made of bamboo. Laptop type, I can use it sitting on a chair like this picture. Could you start the first video? I think, yeah. So this is the video to assemble the bamboo charka. So now I have cotton in my left hand and making a thread from the cotton. As you can see, I'm sitting on the chair, so, okay, thanks. Sitting on the chair, so I can use this at anywhere, like cafe and park. Could you move to the next video? Yeah, this one. So this is a spinning workshop in the terrain. Now this is a normal commuting thing in the terrain in Japan. No joke. So this is just a special occasion. I had a spinning workshop using my bamboo charka with my crazy friends. Okay, thank you. So could you go back to the presentation? Okay. So why bamboo? Why cotton spinning? You may wonder why I am doing this kind of the cotton spinning work. The bamboo, it is, as you know, a very useful material and available all over the world, but not used because they have been replaced by plastic. On the other hand, cotton in Japan, almost 100% are imported from abroad. And most people have forgotten how the cottons or how the threads, how the clothes are made. So when the people forgot how the things are made, they lose the respect to those who made the things. So there are very famous movie and documentary films in Japan. One is True Cost, and the other is Made in Bangladesh. They are pointing out the problems regarding the fast fashion. So I had a small cotton spinning workshop in the events such as the Maker Fair Tokyo, also Maker Fair Shenzhen, and Maker Mela Mumbai. So I felt that there are some kind of the difference between the countries. In Japan, most people does not know how to make the threads from cotton. And the spinning wheel is just a tool in the fairy tale, just like Snow White. And in China, this is a picture in Maker Fair Shenzhen, China. Most people in the age of the 60s or 70s know how to spin. They have their own experience. And in India, of course, everybody knows about the spinning wheel, charka, and knows how to spin. But in the most cases, they cannot spin by themselves. So I went to the school in Pune. Top left is the school in Pune, and went to Hyderabad. The designer, as a teacher of the Fashion Institute, invited me to have a spinning workshop. And this is, bottom left is Ahmedabad, Gujarat, Vidyapith. In this university, the students are supposed to have a 1 hour spinning and meditation. So when they tried my bamboo charka, they spin very well. So bamboo charka and bamboo folding chair, these two items are open source projects. So I will try to support the people who would like to make these items to start their small business. I wish to put this line made by the artisan or the company and designed by Hideo Oguri, Human Tech Lab. I think I still have a time. So, okay, let me show you how to spin. Because this is a World Bamboo Workshop rather than conference. Okay, thank you so much. So as a conclusion of my presentation, each part in the world, people make the necessary items utilizing the local materials, such as bamboo. And the customers respect the makers and artisans. This is the change I wish to see in the world. Thank you.
See the video? Okay, so you start with this video first? This one first. First and then the presentation. Okay. Now. Before the presentation. Okay. Hello? Can you dim the lights? Turn off the lights. I won't like. Pause. Okay, I'm Juan Pablo from Cape Urban. We're a big collective, and I'd like to start with this video that shows the growth of bamboo in a high speed. This is a 1-year cycle. And bamboo reached the full height in 1 year. That could be 15 meters if it's a big species or even more. And in the next 3 to 4 years it will mature and it will be good for building. It grows fast to go over the forest and catch the light. So it has 1 year to go as fast as possible to go higher than the trees of the established forest. I think this is very inspiring, and our works, which are mostly temporary works, are based on this 3 to 4 year cycle. So we use the material green, we don't treat it, and we usually harvest ourselves, and our structures break down at the same pace as the forest regenerates. So it's a closed circle. We don't create any waste, or as little waste as possible. Is there a video? Sorry. no. Have some technical problems here. We'll sort it out. No, I didn't finish the video. But, okay, we can go with the presentation. So open the PDF. Okay? Just the PDF. On the left, the PDF. It's fine, we can go with the PDF, start the presentation. We can watch it again as well. In its growth, it will capture a lot of carbon, and when it breaks down, the carbon eventually will go back to the atmosphere. So one of the things that we can do when we dismantle one of the structures is do biochar, so use it as a fuel, and then capture the carbon as biochar and use it for other purposes, like making bamboo vinegar or other products. Also, you can see that the bamboo, as it grows, has the sheets on the side, those little leaves. A way of identifying the age of the bamboo, if the sheets are still attached to the culm, that means that it's a young bamboo. When it doesn't have the sheets, when it loses the sheets, and it starts to grow mold on the side, it's an easy way of recognizing a mature pole. So when we harvest, we do a selective harvest. We identify and mark all the poles, and then we cut them with handsaws. We try to use as little electric tools as possible, and we think that through education and by bringing the people to the forest and make them understand the whole cycle from growing the bamboo to actually building something, it's a good way of inspiring them and to make them understand the whole cycle. Okay? Can you go full screen? Sorry. If you go on view, full screen mode. No, view. Here, view. And then you go full screen mode. Yeah, thanks. Okay, so Cape Urban is a big team. This is the core members. I'm the creative director. I come originally from Chile. Nikki is the director, then Jet Long, Mercurio, Angel, Loki as well, that is around here. And the team expands and contracts according to the project. And our building projects, they will have a big team or a small team according to where we're situated and what we're trying to do. So we usually work with volunteers, and the reason is that in Australia the labor is very expensive. So we do education projects in which we share all the techniques that we learn and collaborate with other artists to learn new techniques and share them. And then the students will get a chance to learn while they help us build something. So this was one of our first projects. It's a 12-meter tower, a lighthouse, that was for an exhibition in Sydney called Sculpture by the Sea. This was using techniques from George Cuvillier that we use for tying the bamboo up here. And one of the tricky parts of this particular installation was that it has to be installed on the rock, and we couldn't attach to the ground, so we need to put some weight at the base. And the idea of the lighthouse was to express a problem that was at that moment still happening in Australia towards the refugees. So Australia used to be a very welcoming country, and more restrictive policies to immigration made it a little bit more difficult for refugees to reach the country. So the idea of the lighthouse has two meanings. It has the meaning of land, or safe land, but also the meaning of dangerous waters. So we wanted to put that on the table and talk about those topics as we do works with bamboo. That is from the bottom looking up. And during the night. So we like this idea of making a big tower, and we also wanted to bring the bamboo closer to the people, to the city. We think that by bringing the bamboo close to the people, we are opening the market and creating opportunities for people to get in touch with the material, get inspired, and then ask questions about what can we do with bamboo and what is the future of bamboo. So this was a 24-meter tall tower that we installed in the middle of the city. It's probably one of the tallest bamboo structures built at the moment, and it's still up in a different site at the moment. And it was a very, the inspiration came from the forest, and most of our inspiration comes from the material itself. So we try to understand the material and try to take ideas from the material itself. This sensation when you're in the middle of a forest and looking up the vertical lines of the bamboo, we wanted to transport that to the city and share that with the people. So we designed a tower in which you can go inside. You have an entry and an exit. And we use a light steel framework because we didn't have time to build on site because it was a public site in a main square. So we had to build it off site, and it was such a big element that we built it in halves and put it together. And at the base, we had a place for the ballast. Because, again, we couldn't anchor to the ground, so we rented concrete blocks and strapped them down. And because most in Cape Urban has some training in architecture or design or arts, we use models and 3D renderings to express, and share and show the ideas to the client, and then we work towards that. So model making is really important for building with bamboo. It gives you a good idea of how it will behave, and we usually use the little branches of the bamboo itself to create our models. So this is building off-site, and here we're tying with a polyester rope and using a tourniquet technique and using full-size poles. And for this case, because one of the beauties of the forest that we wanted to show is that it has giant bamboo, we even harvested some pieces that were around 20 to 22 meters long and cut them in half and then re-put them together to be able to transport them. So here you can see the two halves of the tower and a little corset made of steel that puts everything together. So this is on the site, and then in one night we put it all together and crane it up, and then finish off the floor inside using the offcuts. We did a floor with the bamboo circles, and that's the work finished. So you can see the size of it, and the people can go inside one side and come through the other, and all those bamboo circles come out and create the stairs. So we use all the offcuts. We even use some offcuts from previous work, so we always try to recycle the material until it breaks down, and then it goes back to the forest. We can mulch it and use it as fertilizer. Whoop, that was quick. So that's an image looking up, and one of the interesting things of bamboo is that it also plays really nice with the light. So usually during the night we try to light with colors, and so during the day you get the natural color of the bamboo, and during the night you can change a little bit and create a different atmosphere. So in this case we use natural light on the outside and a changing light on the inside. And then we transport it to Woodford, which is in the site of the Woodford Fall Festival, where we do most of our work, and install it there for a permanent exhibition. So this is installing at Woodford. And that's where it sits now. It became very interesting how it works in the urban environment, but also work in the natural environment. Well, it's not working very well. So this is another project that we did in Melbourne. It's called Regenesis. It's a cocoon, and it was for a climate change festival that invited artists to do a work that was talking about climate change. And we came up with the idea of a chrysalis in which you can go and isolate from the noise and the urban environment and have a natural experience in the middle of the city, and then come out somehow changed with another vision of how things can be done or how things could look. So again, our first ideas and drawings. A section showing more or less the size of it, and and potential openings and thickness of the walls, location on the plaza, and this is starting to open. So in this case, we're using skinny bamboo, skinny mosso bamboo, like a running forest in which it doesn't grow very big because of the weather conditions. And it's all just tied with wires, similar to the technique we're using here in the workshop for tying, and just bending it and giving the shape. So in this as well, we have a little light steel frame. We usually use light steel frames very thin to give us a quick start and get the shape right, because these sort of projects, they require a quick installation and also give you an anchoring point for foundation or to transport, to be able to pick it up. And Australia has very restrictive regulations, so it also gives you the certification for the engineers. So then if a wind comes, we know that at least everything is hauled down and it won't fly away. So that's on the plaza. Inside. And the council liked it and decided to buy it, and they installed it permanently in a park. So now the kids can play there, and they go inside, they can climb and have a good time. So we always try to create works in which you can go in. I think because of the architectural background, we are used to work with that sort of scale, but we also mix with art. So we're kind of in between art and architecture, trying to create works that are inspiring and that can somehow create a wow effect, so people get interested about the material, and and we can push bamboo in Australia. In Australia, there's not a tradition of bamboo. There's not a craft. We're kind of starting all this by inviting people and collaborating with other artists, and then doing demonstrations so people get interested. We don't have a building code, and that's why we're using art as a medium of experimentation, because there's not many regulations for an art installation compared to a permanent building. In Sculpture by the Sea, again, we did a sculpture called the Golden Hour. Golden Hour is that moment in the afternoon when the sun sets and the light is very good for the photographs. It lasts, like it says, for about an hour and gives the yellow color. So we wanted to put a work that was playing with this idea, a sphere that touches with the horizon and that captures the light of the sunset or the sunrise. So this, again, a drawing with the idea and how, like a sphere, when it touches horizontal lines, create a tension, a visual tension. That's quite interesting and drag the attention of the visitors. So a section showing the intention, of doing a space that you can go inside. And building on site. I think it was like a 5 days build, or a week build probably. Again, skinny bamboo that you can bend, and you can bend it because we work with it when it's green. We harvest ourselves, we go to the forest, we select also the bendy pieces that are easier to catch the curve. And the funny thing is that when you take them out, once they dry out, they keep the shape. But if you're using dry bamboo, it will be really hard to bend. It will probably crack, and you'll have to use heat or steam to bend them. So by using natural way of natural material and just use them green, you can do this sort of effects. And again, the people going inside, and the idea of filtering the light through the weave, and then lighting it during the night, so it becomes like a beacon that you can see from the far. Oh, sorry, something wrong with this. So we collaborated a lot with an artist called Wan Wen-chi. He's from Taiwan. So I'm trying to go back, but this is not responding very well. He comes from Chiayi, and he learned the technique, traditional weaving techniques of his town, and scaled it up using bamboo. And when we met him, it was great, and we did a big project in Woodford with him. And we've been sharing techniques and ideas, and it's been a really, really good relationship. And this is a treehouse that was built for the Woodford Fall Festival again. And it's around 7 meters diameter. And it's all woven with green bamboo and a little bit of wire ties, similar technique to what we're doing here. It's on a tree, a quandong tree that is a native Australian tree. And again, playing with the light and inviting people to go inside. and have a feeling with the bamboo, have the experience to touch it and to be inside a natural environment. This works because if you want bamboo to last, you don't do these sort of things. You will do something with a roof, with long eaves, that will keep it under the shade, out of the water, you'll keep it off the ground. We are choosing not to do that. Actually embrace the ephemerality of the material, embrace that in those conditions it will break down, and I think that's something that is also interesting. And try to avoid the use of chemicals and all those sort of things. This was a pavilion we built in Hobart as part of our Masters of Architecture workshop. It was 2 clients, Clemenger and Mona, which is a museum there. And we ran a workshop for 2 weeks. We workshop ideas with them. And we designed with them and then put it together in like 20 days and a team of 40. So the pavilion had two uses. Was first for a think tank, also to share ideas about education, and then it will turn into the dining area for the winter feast. Again, natural bamboo. This one has a hothouse membrane on the top, so it's a waterproof structure. And it's all tied with a rope, so you all got disassembled and the bamboo got reused. So that's the workshop happening, and those are all the ideas hang on the columns, tree-like columns. And again, we had to use ballast at the base because it was a park, so you wouldn't be able to dig because of the roots of the trees. They don't let you. So it's a self-standing structure. And then at the end of all these structures, we stress test them. We pull them with a machine and take the numbers to see how much strength it takes before breaking. And then we record that into our books, and we start to create a compendium of stress tests of the local bamboo in Australia and the connection we've learned and developed. And these are future projects that we think to do. So this was a project for, yeah, well, that's it. Thank you. Short on time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we are getting our time into the discussion now. Before I conclude this session, I would like to invite Dr. Hawkip to kindly facilitate Juan Arnold. We have 3 excellent speakers. Didn't work at all. It's truly a one-value workshop. Because we are part of it. We have America, we have Japan, Malaysia, and from Australia. And these all are 3 innovative projects.
Sorry?
I think we have 20 minutes for the discussion to take questions. So if you have any serious questions, can you please raise your hand and ask questions to the speakers here? We have 20 minutes only. So whatever we can consume within time, we'll do it. Otherwise, we can discuss over the lunch or outside. Please.
My question goes to the speaker from the first session, Mr. Chua. So is it possible to ask that?
Can you introduce yourself first?
Okay, fine. Yeah. So I just wanted to know about most of the products are like, excellent, those are like the best quality finished products around. Like, I just wanted to understand, like, what is the embedded energy in these products? Like how are you rationalizing the embedded energy part of that? Like, when you are processing the end product, the method is obviously it has a single carbon inside that, but when you are processing that, you are putting in some embedded energy in that. So how is the embedded energy getting balanced with the sequestered carbon that is there inside the panel? to do it, like we are talking in terms of a sequestered carbon inside the baseline of the product. That is the bamboo. The strands has some carbon in it. Whereas while in the process of manufacturing, a lot of processes, it consumes a lot of energy in terms of the.
I got the question.
Yeah.
In one of the slides, I show you wood and bamboo, which I specified bamboo is as part of wood. Going through the process, it uses, if I'm not mistaken, it's like 3.8 megajoule of energy to produce 1 kilo of that material. As compared to, if you compare to iron, glass, those are all much higher, much higher. So in that term, it is still a better material to use as compared to the concrete or steel, iron, and so on. Did I answer your question?
I just want to be a little more specific. Like suppose if we really want to zero it down to the figures and numbers, like okay, this is the volume of bamboo you are consuming, like this many metric tons, and this is the product output. Like suppose for also bamboo in China, it's like consumption of it's like around 3 people. It's like 5.1 metric tons of carbon dioxide can be sequestered by 1 hectare of mozo plantation. Like most of the products are also talking in terms of mozo. So that is equivalent to 3 people's carbon emission as per Chinese lifestyle, whereas it is equivalent to 1 person's lifestyle in US. So if you want to use it there, like what I will say is the amount of carbon footprint for 3 people in a year in China is 5.1 metric tons. The same is equivalent for 1 person in US in 1 year. So if we want to zero each hectare of mozo plantation consumes 5.1 metric tons of CO2 a year. So when you bring the product up, process it, so per hectare of your harvest, what is the volume of product that you make? As compared to that, what is the amount of energy you are consuming? Might be able to give out the data for that.
Thank you again for the question. But I think I'm from the entrepreneur side. Those questions I think is very well asked the academic world to answer. So any academic world people who have this number in your mind and can reply to this question, I'm very much welcome for the help. I think it's a very specific question. If I were to answer that question, I have to go back to this study before I can answer that. I'm very sorry.
Next question, please. Say,
I have a question. My name is Sharma. I'm from Bangladesh. I have a question to Pablo. Thank you for your nice illustration. The thing is, you have shown different structures, some temporary, some permanent. Is there any mechanism for waterproofing the roof? As I have seen some pictures that there are some small holes on the roof. So what would be the mechanism of waterproofing during the rainy season?
You'll have to use some sort of membrane or some product that will actually be waterproof. Bamboo has to be kept away from the sun and the water. That's a general rule that applies to any bamboo building. So if you want the building to last, you have to keep it off the elements. And if you're in a place that is prone of borers or insects that will eat it, you'll have to treat it. The traditional method is borax and boracic acid. So you soak it, and then the salts of the borax will replace the sugars of the bamboo. The sugars are the ones that attract the bugs. And through osmosis, you replace them, and then it's also a fire retardant because sugar is flammable. So that's kind of the good practice, let's say. Okay?
yeah, thank you. Next one, please.
Hello. Hello. I had a question for Mr. Martin Motera. Sir, are you here? Hello. Yes. Here. Hi, I'm Moni. I'm an architect and industrial designer working in bamboo furniture. So, you showed a few visuals in which you used molds for creating curves for your bamboo structure. So, how long did you keep it in that mold, and are there chances of bouncing back? And secondly, sir, how long have your structures stood till now? What's the longest time that your structures have stood till now?
So when you're making the curves, you need to have the technique for the curve don't return to the same, no? So in the model, we need to put the triangles inside. I can show you now like a little demonstration how to make the curves and in the mold and no return, no? Because it's very important in construction. You have all the time the curves and not with the move, no? For this construction, we make only the curves, only like demonstration of bamboo laminate, and the strongest could be. But we can make a demonstration for 3. In the hotel infant, we are making another more curves. It's 3 curves, so we can show you 2 the other place too.
So you showed the demonstration in which you are making small cuts and curving it.
Exactly.
Is that the way? Or do you like keep it in the mold and keep it stagnant?
Yes. For example, if you put one bamboo, no? And after you put the other. So if you, okay, you put triangles inside, so you can put bamboo pins like triangles, and you are making a little structure inside. So when you put the arcs, it's continue with the same arc. But you need to work with the bamboo pins, in this case, for example, in triangles. So you put one bamboo, other, and you put triangles inside, and it's no return.
Answers my second question. So how long are your structures standing? What's the longest time frame that your structures have stood?
Now, for example, with the arches, the biggest structure that I have in Guanajuato is 3 years. Yes. The other is the cover, no? What time is the time of life of the protection, no? So in this case, it's like 20 years because it's very expensive TPO of plastic, kind of plastic, but it's very, very a long life. So you need to have, we now in the industry a lot of textiles and a lot of material for long life, no? Yes, you're welcome.
Yes, thank you.
We have 10 minutes in hand. Next question.
Sir, I want one question that when you're using bamboo in exterior, like wall lighting, like others have had products, so is there any treatment, special treatment or coating required to protect it from sun and rain mostly? And one more question was for Pablo. Sir, are you planning any installation in Burning Man Festival or something?
Hello? Yeah, you can also varnish the bamboo if you want to protect varnish. A good varnish with UV protection will protect it from the sun and the rain, but you'll have to reapply that varnish in a yearly basis to make sure it doesn't break down. And you have to pay special attention to the ends of the bamboo, because at the end, when you cut the bamboo, the end of the bamboo is where all the capillaries are and will absorb moisture, and usually the place where pores go in. So you have to pay special attention to those parts to make them seal. But yeah, you have to use a very good product and reapply it at least yearly to make sure it doesn't break down.
What's the best organic varnish that you can suggest for doing the same thing? Organic, anything organic, like not using any.
There's water-based varnishes, like I don't want to advertise. There's different brands that you can use. So if you go for a water-based one, it will be more friendly with the environment instead of a solvent-based. But there's different brands. Then they can all work. It's good to do a sample because and you'll have to sand the glossy part of the bamboo because the natural silicone usually will tend to peel there. It doesn't. So with a very smooth sand, you scratch that surface. So make sure there's a good bonding between the varnish and the bamboo, and make sure the bamboo is well dry and yeah, you just apply it.
Any questions from this side?
My question is to Pablo and Martin. Most of the works are the result of your personal experiment. What is the status of the material in your countries in the architectural education? I'm an architect and academic, and in India, we have just one cursory semester dedicated to alternative materials, which is called a vernacular semester, architecture semester. What is the status of material in
of this material in architectural education in your countries?
Well, in the case of Australia, it's something that is, hello? In the case of Australia, it's something that is, we're just kind of trying to start and open the market. Sorry? So there's not a code at the moment, but there's other countries that are much more advanced. Let's say Colombia, Peru, they have building codes. I don't know very well how the structure is around this area. But there's lots of good practices of building with bamboo. What Oscar Hidalgo's done with Simon Vélez in terms of connections with mortar to connect the different pieces. Those are good practices as well. So I think the best is to go to the ISO standards and see all those papers. They have good information and see the building codes of countries that have a good tradition of building the material.
And we have information in the WBO, in the World Bamboo Organization. So you can find more information in the WBO of a lot of information of architect, engineer. So you can find in the page. Yes?
Hello.
Can you please introduce before you speak? Yeah, please.
Yeah. My question is to the speaker from first session, gentleman from Dassault. Okay. So you talked about the industrialization. If we consider the industry in India, we are looking at small things also, like street manufacturing. What do you think, what are the barriers in the Indian industry with, what we lack in as an industry in India, in bamboo industry? Is it a bamboo, or is it a infrastructure, or the hard work of people, or ambitions of people?
Well, again, it's a big question. The way I think, obviously industrialization is very important, but then I cannot just impose on a certain level of industrialization. Example, I can suggest that, hey, build a big factory so that can sell a lot of material. But that may not suit you well just because it depends on what level of social economy the society is at. So, and also it depends also the financial status of whoever that's going to invest in that. But in any case, the way I see things is, first you need to build the market. And once you know that the market is built, then the second thing you need to do is check the cost and the market level, pricing and your costing. Then third, obviously volume is important. Now, do you have the resource to supply to meet the demand, meaning the volume of the demand in one go? If I were to quote some example, for example, we used to supply to a big chain company that has 2,000 stores. 2,000 stores, okay? And what they want is to set all 2,000 stores in 6 months. Only 6 months. Which means, and then they estimate, every week they can sell 1 pallet, meaning 1 pallet of material. So if you compound that, you take 2,000, divide by 6, and that comes to how many stores you need to set in that one go. And then you start to calculate that every week you sell 1 pallet, they need 2 pallets per store. 1 store to 1 pallet to show, and if once people bought it, then they need to bring another one from the warehouse down to the floor. So if you multiply that, that volume is huge. Not a single one factory can fulfill. So coming back to that situation then is, in your case, if you do not have that capability, then you say, pass. You cannot do it. There's no way. So looking back at this situation, like in Manipur, I would say you need to have a structure more towards cooperation, meaning multiple supplier, and then you need these multiple small pipes have to join to a medium pipes, and that secondary processing. And then from that secondary processing, then you have to join up few of the secondary processing, And then you probably have to have a co-op of marketing channel, just marketing the product. So there's a lot of things going on in there. I mean, I'm just touching the base or just the surface. Have I answered the question in that sense?
Yes.
Thank you.
Just for your information, please, tomorrow at 9:30, I'm speaking on the value chain management over here. And most of your questions will be answered by me tomorrow. So please kindly attend the session without fail. One last thing.
I have a question here, please. This question is for Vanessa. This side. Yeah. So towards the left. So, thank you very much for your inspiring presentation. So I'm a local participant working as a scientist, but my heart beats for the biodiversity and conservation part. So I have started with a project now, and I have already made a small natural hub. So I wanted to know what kind of resource mobilization strategies you use to come up with a place like children's and for any kind of rural setup.
Yes, at the beginning, when we started the project, we used to get funds from organizations from the States and from Europe. But nowadays, it's much easier in South America to get funds from private companies. Like the companies that are surrounded by the areas that you are working. Let's say if I go to the highlands and there is a mining company, then because of their social and responsibility and environmental tasks that they have to take care of the area, so we go, normally they call us and we go and do a diagnostic. We make a proposal with the community, and then you can start running the program that will be between 2 and 3 years, and then the community gets the project, and it will be other like the government as well. But in the pipe, now you get more private companies in charge of these projects, and it's not very difficult to do that. But you always need to have one person to do specialized on fundraising, to start writing the programs, and to search for donations and the other people that work in the field. Thank you so much.
I'll take the last question, and I think there's any announcement from the organizer, then we close the session. Please, Sukumar.
For Mr. Everly, for Mr. Chua, regarding today, I saw a very fantastic new technology you have mentioned, or nanotechnology, or deep technication of this mud and clay.
Okay.
Mud and clay is your new treatment technology. Second part is, how does your boats survive this throwing in the exterior?
I'm sorry, I didn't get it. Can you repeat that?
You have mentioned something about nanotechnology you use
Yes.
for the treatment of bamboo. Apart from the usual body product treatment. You mentioned something about mud or something like that.
Yeah.
And second part is your bamboo boats, those used for this, what you call this exterior job. How long does it survive and what sort of treatment do you use?
All right. For the nanotechnology, it's a new development. Right now, we are in the process of patenting the technology. So because of that, we are not able to disclose our secret. I'm sorry about that. And for the second question, was it something about boat? But frankly, the material that we produce so far, after tested, we are able to warranty it to last at least 30 years. But of course, in our gut feeling, we feel when you can get to 30 years, it will be more or less like 50 years. Have I answered the question?
Yeah, since most of the construction you do out in the exterior, we need some coating or something.
We suggest to put oil, just because oil and coating is different in nature. Oil seep into the material, wood and bamboo. This is coming from the coating technology, my background on the coating technology. When you form a film, like plastic form a film on a material, ultimately it has to peel. Because under the UV light, especially when it's outside, UV light is going to penetrate through the coating and etch the fiber layer. So over time, it doesn't matter whether it's 1 year, it could be 2 years or 3 years or maybe longer, but ultimately it's going to peel because UV sunlight is going to age the fiber and the fiber is going to start to weaken and the whole coating will peel. Whether it's the coating that aged first or the fiber aged first, but ultimately it fails. So the best treatment for exterior is always oil because oil goes into the material and then you can have a lot of different additive that's in the coating that preserve the wood. Is that sufficient? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think Suzanne has an announcement. Yeah. Before that, I would like to thank all the speakers here for making such excellent presentation. And I would like to request you to give a big clap for all the speakers here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for just a moment. Some of you probably wonder how WBO operates. If you were here during my presentation, the World Bamboo Organization is actually operated solely by volunteers. None of us are paid professionals. The way we operate with our website, our hosting charges, any publications that any financial cost to our organization comes 100% from our corporate partners, okay? And I'd just like to introduce our newest corporate partner from Manipur here. Come to the stage. They would like this opportunity so that you recognize them. Marjaling Industries from Manipur. They're in the tissue culture propagation, and they are now a new corporate partner, our first from Manipur. Would you like to say something? Yes.
Hello. Our company, the name of our company is Marjaling Industries Private Limited. We are especially focused on the tissue culture, and tissue culture is just starting of the plant, whatever we are going to produce from the plant. And right now we are focusing on the production of local varieties of Manipur bamboo plants. The texture culture is nothing, we are trying to produce scientifically, which use latest technology. It is totally virus free. That's why we are focusing on production of bamboo products from the tissue culture. Thank you very much. Thank you, Susan, for giving the partnership.
Thank you so much to the chair of the second session, Kamesh Salam, founder of the World Bamboo Day. Thank you once again. We have announcements, the painting competition by school children, which took place from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Global bamboo shoot cuisines to be prepared by the delegates from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. at Hapta Kangjebung ground, which will be followed by, before this, we have the bamboo shoot cookies demonstration from 2 to 3 p.m., followed by global bamboo shoot cuisines to be prepared by the delegates from abroad at Hapta Kangjebung. And Nagaland delegates, we hope you have reported at the reception counter on the ground floor. Lunch is now ready. We request the speakers to partake the lunch on the left side of the hall and the delegates and participants on the right side. And after lunch, please proceed to Hapta ground for the bamboo shoot cuisines cooking and global bamboo shoot cuisines and bamboo shoot cookies demonstration. Also the pavilion construction at the same venue. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.